pleasant good evening again to everyone, all of our viewers. We want to say welcome to another edition of MLC Talk. This is the platform we discuss all things Lutheran. And as our motto says, that securing the fights beyond emotion. So today we have again with us in studio our dear brother Elijah Zina, there in Minneapolis. I think you can tell by his face our brother is most shining today, right after the birthday. And our sister, our tough talking sister couple Silly is here. You can tell she all suit up today. Couple is ready, and our Igwe, the Dr. Toto himself is here. Again, want to welcome you to another beautiful show. This is MLC Talk. This is the platform again we discuss all things Lutheran. Dr. Toto, what's going on there in Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh is so beautiful today.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to describe it, but good weather. Good activity going on.
You said you were on the countryside. Yeah. You said you were on the countryside during the week.
I went to the interior side of Pennsylvania yesterday, over like a village. Wow. And it was amazing that I was there on a farm where they produce wine. And you know, if you are there on the sugarcane farm, you're like, bro, what they produce the cane juice, right?
Yeah,
cane juice
processing.
Yeah.
So that's the same with the wine. You know, I'm not going through processing.
All the gumbo get that down.
Damn, man.
Yeah. So, yeah, I have a big cup. I was just there, you know, enjoying myself, drinking so much. That was the part one.
Wow.
You know, but man, it's good to be in the countryside. You know, for me, I'm a rural boy. I was born in Toronto. I grew up in Toronto. I wouldn't went Moreover just for education. So I know what it takes to live in the interior South Liberia. It kind of put me back to where I was before. So it was good to be upside on the big city. No.
That's sweet.
Yep.
So, couple, what is happening in your head?
Yeah, Winnipeg is fine. Winnipeg is okay. We've been having rain for the past 2 days now. Like we are in our fall season, heading to winter. But the city is okay. I want to church today. I'm so much grateful for that. Because for the past like a month now, I haven't been to church. Yeah, but I made it today. And I'm okay. I'm fine.
That's good to our viewers out there.
Another thing again, for the past week, it's been tough for me. I lost my older sister back home.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but she had been buried. Yeah, so the week was very, very tough for our family. And we continue that you people should remember us in your prayers. Yeah.
Hold on. I mean, couple, sorry to ask you on live show, but you said your sister that the security?
No, not my
Okay. All right, so sorry.
Yeah, so sorry, man, for your loss. You know, you have to that world. You know, at least it happened already, but just let us know. You know, but we stand by you and wish you and your family our TBR condolences. We pray that God will comfort you for go through some of the difficult days. You know, to our viewer out there, welcome to the show. Share the show for us and put your comment. There's another beautiful edition we'll be having to discuss some issue from last week when it comes to the Lutheran, the Low 5 University, SACA that involved our bishop and one of our members. And we'll be discussing some other issue when it comes to the welfare of our pastors in the Lutheran Church in Liberia, how they been taken care of. And also, so there's an open discussion. Elijah, what is happening in Minneapolis? Your fear of grief sexuality.
And a birthday.
First of all, I want to say, once again, couple have a temperature. Sorry, Johnny God, I didn't let you guys know. I actually called a couple to sympathize with her when she lost her sister. I'm sorry that I didn't put it in our group so that I can let you all know. But yeah, we've been reaching out as well. So um, Minnesota is doing well. For a couple, I went to church and came back. I was kind of busy this morning. That's the reason why I couldn't answer any of the calls that were coming through. But everyone is good, and we have a really good weather after church. Took the kids out, and then we came back home. Wifey just came back from work, so and I'm here looking forward to what we have on our plate tonight.
Okay, that's good. Let's try to get here with it. Let's get back to you.
Yeah.
You are the more when it comes to the communication arm of the network. Last week, if you go back to, I went back to the last podcast in terms of the rating to
Yeah.
see how people view people perspective regarding the bishop about the Lutheran Church in Liberia, in the alleged corruption scandal to the Lofa University. We talk about the show that we said that without passing judgment, we're just discussing it from the media perspective to know how members of our church feel, how they felt when the news broke out with the bishop and Annie Froboni were involved in what happened to the Lofa University. We discussed it from the media perspective. And as a church member, we discuss it from that perspective, but without passing guilt, without passing judgment. And then the executive council came up with a decision that I was taking. And from then up to today, I think certain publication was always been given and also come out for the LCL, for the executive council meeting, but they have been so quiet. And what is happening? Things have been so quiet from last week up to today. We haven't seen anything yet on I saw what text from the bishop sister, Pastor P, trying to bring some clarity to the post, to the podcast last week when it comes to the bishop involved with the Phoebe Hospital. I think that was a statement that was made by one of us, needing the bishop to some issue that happened at Phoebe Hospital last week. I mean, not last week, before then, when your pastor or chaplain to the hospital. So that's all the development I see so far. But we'll come to that yet. But what is happening? Anything new out there that we as Lutheran need to know about when it comes to the indictment?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, Elijah, yeah, when it
oh,
comes.
okay.
No.
That is sort of, you see, on the last show, I think one of my comments that I made was, it is upon the bishop of the Lutheran Church in Liberia, given the mixed information surrounding the investigation, it is incumbent upon him and his leadership to consistently update the church about the status of this case. Because the case is not only of a national concern, it's also a major concern to the institution that he served, and that he served. And also, people want to know what's happening. People want to know the updates. I know in my Luchu connection, there are a few people that are posting and asking about the update about the case. And and I say it is very important that every week, if the bishop can take upon himself instruct his assistant to just put up some clarification and give progress updates on this case, because it's struggling when everything is started and nobody's saying anything and people are asking questions. That gives room to
What happened,
speculate.
Willie?
You know, hear me, couple?
Okay, hear you, Elijah.
We hear
Okay,
you. Go ahead, Elijah. Go ahead.
I'm here.
okay. That gives room to speculations and people drawing conclusions and bringing down verdict of their own because of lack of communication. There's, there's a need for our bishop and the leadership of the LCS to consistently have the churches informed. Do a weekly update. If it is a one-line text, send it to all of your deans. Or send it to, send it to your deans. Through your deans, it gets to your pastors. Through your pastors, it gets to your congregations. just said, this is where we are, this is what happened. My Lutheran Connection post that information over there to just clear the doubt of people. But with the consistent sign, I think this is giving room to other speculations, and you will not hold anybody responsible if they are speculating in their accent of you providing updates.
Yeah, I think Elijah for that point. If the bishop system can write or rebuttal to a comment that was made last week on the Connection show, that means they listen to the show and they see what is going on. I hope they will do the needful things to address some of the concern to clear the doubt, because, like you said, you as like the president of the nation, the people want to hear news, they want to hear something, about what's going on, about the affair of the country, especially kind of the Lutheran Church in Liberia, about our bishop. People want to know what's the next step, what is going on. They've been so quiet, without seeing anything out there yet. Like a weekly briefing, nothing.
Yeah.
What is on your end? Do you have contrary view to Elijah?
No, absolutely. I do not have contrary view to Elijah, and this is the same thing that the same issue we raised last Sunday, that the communication arm of our church, I don't think they do well for they do well for our church, and it's not only this issue in previous previous issues as well, in national or church center, the communication arm of our church, and I stand again to be corrected, is controlled by the Secretary General. So if we are not sending out, we are not receiving information as church members, people will speculate, and like Elijah said, it will create a room that more people will start to make some comments. Like, for example, calling for bishop to step aside and go through the process, and all of that. But information need to be made clear. Again, from the council meeting, that emergency council meeting, that was a great step. They moved swiftly. Again, there were calls in Romans that Romans had it that because of mounting calls in the Lutheran Connection chat room, that's the reason that prompted this emergency ESCO meeting. Now, they went to the ESCO meeting. The ESCO agreed, unanimously that we will support, the head of our church. We will stand by our members, including our sister Annie Flomo. But I think a publication should have been sent out. On to now, we have not seen anything. Then, we will get to the other comment that, clarification was made by the bishop assistant. We're going to get to that. But also, interestingly, during the week, we saw a publication that was shared by the board of the Lofi University. I think the board met, and the board, came up with a strong statement supporting all of their members, the members on the board, of the university. So, we're going to share that too. I know we're going to have a discussion on that.
Do you have that publication I could put the screen?
Yeah, so I'm working on it. We're going to be having it very shortly. I'm working on that. So again, just to wrap up, I do agree with my brother Elijah. The communication arm of our church, and again, not only to this incident, the communication arm of our church needs to do better. This is the time again that either ESCO, or I don't know who's going to really put the mounting pressure, either ESCO or the convention. We need to do better. If we need to have some experts that will help us in that area, in our communication area, that will help us. Great. And we have some experts in our church.
Good writers. We've got good writers.
We got good writers in our church. But again, when damage is done, before we start coming back to do damage control. I think there's some, you can go into details, but the church will come and say, even saying that the executive council met and this is the position of the executive council, and say we stand by our members. I don't think there's anything legally wrong with that,
Okay, let me get a couple. Do you agree with your colleague? In case the church have the legal arm of the church that advise the church or the office of the bishop had to respond to many publications in the media to talk about this issue. Do you agree with that?
I think so. I think the bishop office or the bishop have been advised to not say anything because I see no reason why they should be mute when it comes to information dissemination. So I think there was some legal team who is advising the bishop not to speak too much or not to talk too much. I think, and that's the reason why they are not really coming up with a lot of publication. But again, it doesn't stop them from coming up with the findings of the executive council meeting, the emergency executive council meeting that was called. I think that should have been published. I don't know whether it was published that what he said, oh, we got emergency council meeting and the council met and this is why we came out. Oh, the council agreed to stand by a member through what means financially, morally, spiritually. But this is the council decision. So that other part of it, I don't think it has anything to do with legal people being advising you that you should not say that more. Maybe the other aspect where they went to the court, they went for that bond was too or whatsoever they went through, and the legal counsel came out and said, "Oh no, we shouldn't disclose this." What the fuck? But on the funniest of the executive council meeting, I think it should have been published, and we all should be in the know of what happened or what were those decisions that were taken at the executive council meeting.
Yeah, because that's can you go back to that statement Eric Doja posted on the screen?
Yeah,
He said the
yeah.
Lutheran Church
Yeah.
is feeding speculation on this matter. Feeding speculation on this matter will hold into our congregation and the public general to feed them with appropriate timely information. If you say the Lutheran Church like, bro, can Eric Doja just call the show and just give more information? If you say the Lutheran Church like, bro, is feeding speculation, why he ready them about feeding speculation when there's no information being posted out? So Elijah, wait.
Yeah, that I to Reverend Doe comment, right? But no, the Lutheran Church in Liberia is feeding speculation. The Lutheran Church in Liberia is its member. So when he said the Lutheran Church in Liberia is feeding speculation, it means that a lot of members of the church, they are feeding the speculations in the newspapers, on social media, and other places, because people are narrating this story differently in different quarters, right? So even if we are not telling the bishop to explain the legal process that's going on. That's not what we are asking for. And that can be like, because the legal people will advise you and say you can't talk about the case while it is in court, because you don't want to let out some of the important factors that they need for that case or to settle that case in the public beforehand. But eternally, you can say things around what's going on without going into the legal aspect of it, just to keep your people informed. Every week you say, we know that our church is concerned about this situation, and we are going through the legal process. We are at this stage now in the legal process, and we are waiting for the court to do XYZ. That is enough information from the office of the bishop to his congregation, and just to calm people down, because the tension is mounting. Since last week we talked about this. This week we have not heard anything coming from the office of the bishop. And we made mention of one thing. The office of the general secretary, for me, I think is not functional right now effectively when it relates to communication of the Lutheran Church in Liberia. We are not only this case, but we are not communicating effectively about things and development that are going on around our church. Many a times, our church is doing so much that we don't publicize them, we don't communicate them. And at the end of the day, it appears as though the leadership is not working. They are working, they are doing things. But if the communication arm of the church is not functional, and this has been a problem for time immemorial. And today we have not even solved the situation. You got a lot of young brothers in Liberia, around the Lutheran Church in Liberia. If you can just give somebody, you don't have to put them on among the salary, but somebody to just do an article for you every month. The Lutheran, that's the inside the Lutheran Church in Liberia. You can have a month.
Elijah, hold on, I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you. Hold on. Let me get over. Let me draw with it. With it. This Eric Doe's statement is very catch. Is an eye-catching statement. It can't get more looking. Eric Doe,
no,
a very good friend of the brother that I know him for many years before he became pastor. And he's a pastor in the Lutheran Church. And he writes, the church is speeding on speculation. That be the central office is not communicating with the pastors or with the congregation on this issue.
Yes.
Do you see it troublesome?
No, besides troublesome, I see it as the weight that is on our pastors. You know, the weight due to lack of communication coming from the central command. Okay, the weight is on the pastors. Apparently, our pastors who are in the field, who are in the forefront facing the congregation, I mean, the lack of information that they can provide. So the weight is upon them. This statement, I mean, it's not any statement that you can just, I mean, that you can just say, okay, this is just something that you brush it off. No. I mean, this is a very strong statement here. And he's and I mean, and I'm not saying this like, in social terms to say put the person under the bus or so. Reverend Doe is a seasoned pastor. Okay, I mean he's the chairperson of the board education or the board Lutheran, the Lutheran director of Lutheran school system. Okay, so he taught it well before posting this comment, and I don't think he mean anything negative for our church, but our church needs to act. We have individuals in our church. We don't have to go outside. Like Brother Elijah said, okay, even a little token. You remember Elijah? It was one point when Abel was with the Trauma Healing and Reconciliation Program. He used to wrestle articles.
Yeah.
Oh,
he used to wrestle articles. Right.
The
legitimate, the legitimate.
Hold on. We talk about this apple oranges here.
Okay.
We're not talking about writing statement for the church. I got show the bishop office have qualified people to put us in where they want to. But the issue here, maybe they are being advised by legal team.
I'm sure they are being advised.
Maybe to just make another comment on it, maybe they are being advised. So I don't think the issue. I don't think the issue have to do qualify people to put up release or not. No. They have the tools. They have the qualified people in the church or in the central command office to come up publication if the team they want to do that. But let me jump over to I will come in
let me just provide a point here. Sorry, let me just provide a point.
Okay, I gave you 5 seconds.
Okay, if the BA have the authority to write to clarify a comment that was made on the last show.
We'll come back to that.
And we have that ready. We have that ready, Elijah. We have it ready.
Why don't have that same courage to provide some of those clarity?
I mean, I don't think it's a legal advice. I don't think so. I don't want to believe so.
Yeah, I'll be quiet. Don't talk about the merits of the case, but they will not advise you not to update your people about the case. Yeah. So we can't speculate for them here. We have to understand that it is incumbent upon the office of the bishop to inform the church consistently, regardless of the legal people or whatever advice they give them. We don't say go into the merit of the case. Done. Just inform us about what you do.
I'll get back to you. So we want to be sitting on there. We see the bishop in here going to start being done before we get the information.
You guys experiencing the same.
Don't forget that would not happen. Just kidding.
Couple, you there? You there with us? Couple, are you hearing us? You there with us?
You guys experiencing a break in?
Yeah, well, there's a little
Yeah.
break in for your side.
Yeah, that was a little breaking. Yeah.
Yeah, but you
I'm
hear
hearing.
all that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, couple. So
Is it for me?
yeah, going
Yeah.
back to Reverend Doe's statement he made that, like one of Elijah and went away into his statement, looking at saying that the church is feeding on speculation. There's a pastor. You know, there's a pastor. The church is feeding on speculation on this matter. What is your view on it?
For me, Reverend Doe's statement that the church is feeding on speculation, I don't know, but I don't see it that way because, okay, there was an issue in the paper, right? An emergency meeting was called, and it was clarified in that meeting. The fact was said in the meeting, and people, it was not nothing from what the paper said, from what it was not nothing from what the LCC oh God, what's the government institution for correct? No, not GSC.
LACC.
Yeah, it was not nothing from what LACC said, right? When they explain in the executive council meeting. So when the Reverend says it's a speculation, for me, I don't know. I don't see it that way because in that meeting, in that executive council, he said, when that executive council meeting, it was a general meeting. In that general meeting, we had parish council chair, we had pastors, we had lay leader. In fact, it was open to everyone. So I guess it is the responsibility of those council chair or those council chair. They carry the information back to them, to their members or to their various parishes, right?
Then where is it? Listen, she make a valid point.
Then where is Reverend Doe coming from saying that this is a speculation? In as much as when you look at his last statement, he said the appropriate time will come for the information, timely information, right?
Go into so the congregation in general to feed the appropriate timely information.
No, that's what he said.
Go ahead, Elijah.
Hold on, Elijah. You couple learn.
Yeah, but today we got follow up.
Yeah,
you gotta follow up.
Let me just follow up and make clarification around what Reverend Doe said here, right? Reverend Doe is agreeing with us, saying that it is incumbent upon the church. He said the church is feeding on speculation on this matter. It means that in much as the bishop called the emergency meeting, after that meeting, we don't have any other update. So everything that people hearing around the church, you and I hearing, it's just based on what we're reading and what people are posting. And he said we hold it to our congregation and the public in general to feel that with the appropriate information and timely. So that's what we're saying here. If the bishop office can just take it upon herself and put out one line every week about this matter.
So
it shows how important it is to them.
Pause to that place, right?
Okay.
Pause there. Let me come in. After that general meeting, like we all are saying that probably they were advised, right? So let's assume that there was no update, but then our leaders, our church leaders, they went to that meeting and they got the information and they carried it back to their various parishes and they informed our congregation, right? Mm-hmm. So if the legal counsel or the legal defense say, okay, the bishop will not get update. So for me, I don't know. That's why we are assuming that this is also it is true too. So when Reverend say that there's a speculation that we are feeding with, but then there is no new update now. There's nothing new. There's nothing new. I don't know if it's something new for NAFA. But
Tell-
from
tell
that
me.
end, there's nothing
That's
new.
it.
It is just the same old story.
I will come back to you,
And-
Coco.
and I told her,
Let me go to with it. They will come back to Elijah. They will kill the next set.
Elijah will come again. So
Yeah.
again, I agree with Elijah on the comment from Reverend Doe that we are not saying
Coco, hold on, your talk. But this is key to Coco. All those are in that, this is all those are in that meeting were leaders of the church. And it's been who upon them to take that information to their members and to the congregation. So just so you know.
So Dada Tutu, we participated in the meeting as well. The meeting, it was not only church leaders. The meeting was open to the general public. I also thought that it was a church leaders meeting, but it was open to the general public. Okay, now this is the point that we are making, and Reverend Doe has concurred with us. The point that we are making is we're not asking the church or the bishop to go into the merits and demerits of the case, the legal aspect of the case. We are not saying that. We're saying that through the office of the communication arm of the church, which is the Secretary General, what was said in the meeting, or what was the decision in the meeting? You don't have to go into detail, but the church had a meeting, and we stand by our bishop and our member, because both of them were in the meeting. So by you saying that, about the church saying that we stand by them, it doesn't mean that they do not have legal battle that they are faced with. No, it doesn't mean that. They have their legal battle, but we stand with them. We can stand with them in prayer. We can stand with them physically. We can stand with them financially. So we stand with them, and that's what Joe is saying. Okay.
Elijah, 5 seconds. They talk about Jordan. That's topic.
Okay. The one last thing I want to say, I agree with Coco. Let's say we all were in the meeting. We listened into the executive meeting that was held. Okay, the information went back. We heard the bishop's side of the story. We said we stand with the bishop. For any reason that if the legal counsel or the bishop do not say anything or do not give an update, it is not incumbent upon the office of the bishop and say, I'm writing to let you all know that as much as I want to keep informing you guys about this case, but we have been advised by the legal counsel that we should not say anything about this case until it's brought to bed.
That's right.
Time office of the bishop. Then people understand that.
How do we stay with them?
Legally, you have been advised to do it, and you have passed that information to your leaders, to your pastors and your deans and your congregation. So people will not be putting a letter and saying, why we're not hearing from the bishop after they've gotten the information that you've been advised not to say anything about the case because it's important. So that's what effective communication is.
Okay, Elijah. Okay,
even when the bishop is leaving the church to even travel, there should be even a short notice to
hold that the bishop office.
Another thing, they felt that because all church leaders were there, so that's why people go back and get the information.
We hope the bishop office, the bishop assistant that listen to the broadcast, and we hope that they will listen to the broadcast and to the legal team. But I jump into the deeper of the discussion also too. We saw a communication from the DA.
Yeah, it's available.
Reverend Thomas Spear to put out a rebuttal to make certain clarity to the statement that was made. I'll be able to show asked me regarding the bishop when he was chaplain to Phoebe Hospital, when some corruption standard went on for a few years, or so irregularity went on. And then he tried to clarify that the bishop was not part of that. So he wanted to report it last April. Whether do you have that communication I can put on the screen?
Sure, it is available.
Yeah, so
let me try to and see.
Yeah, okay, you can see it.
Okay, we can see it, right?
Yeah, let me just read it for.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it says, dear panelists of our Lutheran Convention talk show, I respectfully provide a correction it was statement made during your September 14, 2025 broadcast. It was mentioned that Bishop G.
I
Victor
want to hear the
Palmer
response.
was involved in the July 2019 alleged financial crisis at the Phoebe Hospital and School of Nursing, which led to the suspension of certain staff members. For the record, the allegation brought against Mr. Jonathan Piwo, HR Director, the late Mr. Kasim Seker, Administrator, Mr. Patrick Jackson, Controller, Mr. Jeremiah Akwe, Chief Accountant, were later found to be misleading. As a result, they were reinstated, and 60% of their salary and benefit were restored with the remaining 40% still outstanding. At the time, Reverend G. Victor Palmer, now Bishop, was serving as chaplain of the institution. Following the board directives, he was asked to act as administrator of the Phoebe Hospital and School of Nursing, while the payroll pending allegation against the aforementioned staff were under review. Reverend Palmer faithfully served as acting administrator for 1 year and 2 months. For further clarification, Mr. Jonathan Piwo, one of the reinstated staff, may be contacted directly via WhatsApp at social number. Respectfully submitted, Reverend Thomas Zerpe, assistant to the Bishop, Lutheran Church in Liberia, former chaplain, Phoebe Hospital and School of Nursing. So, guys, so this is the reporter. You can take it out with it.
Okay.
So this is the reporter. I don't know. I think maybe I would try to pick boom.
Let me
I don't know.
let me come.
Come on,
Let me come in that statement. I don't know why he didn't mention my name.
Yeah, so try to
They made it
pick boom.
as a show, so they can't call your name.
Yeah.
And I think anybody say on the show for the whole show, and that way,
So this is
It was said on the show, you know,
so this is the reporter to the statement that you made. Do you have sufficient evidence to link the bishop to the allegation? You
Let me come in that yeah. Let me come in. I made my statement. In my statement, number one, I didn't say that the bishop was indicted. Number two, I didn't say that the bishop was taken to court campus at the Shirada corruption issue. And it is true. Within that article, that was 2019 from Page Africa, even the bishop, but then the chaplain, I would take him as the chaplain, but then the chaplain for Phoebe. He and the former, I don't know, he is his state representative, Melvin Cole. They had issue too, right, with that same case. And when they took the first administration, when they suspended them or what they did to them, when they brought in the chaplain to act as the head, but then there were other people too who said he was part of the same leadership that they accused him. Then why would they bring him to serve? There were two sides of the coin. Other people said they would not allow it. Other people said, they should. And at the end of the day, he acted, I don't know for how many years. But the fact is, his name was part of the whole issue that was going on at Phoebe compound. I did not say they indicted him. No. I was only comparing cases that his name had been involved in. And now to this other case, his name is there. I just tried record.
That's what, because
that's what they're trying. Now they said that something in a country culture, and now they say you take the first and compare. I don't know who knows about that, but they're looking at the past record and the trend of cases that he had been involved in. His name had been mentioned into it. That's all. So
Elijah. So what is your view on the BA response to the alleged allegation against the bishop of Phoebe Hospital?
Well, I appreciate the clarification coming from the office of the bishop through his BA. It was necessary to provide the clarification, and I appreciate the explanation given by couple. As people in the business of making of providing information on happenings, sometimes when there's a case, and if you want to bring some balance to the story, and you want to make people to understand and to think critically about the case, you go into the historicity of the fight or the characters involved with the investigation or with the situation. So, take for an instance, in America here or other places, when somebody uh, shoot and kill somebody, they go back into your history and start thinking what you did before, what you did before, what you did before, and then they bring it to the current situation in order to form a, 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 an accurate or to make a credible decision or to make a credible decision about that case. What led you to doing it? Is there a habit? Is it something that's part of somebody's character? Is it something that been happening before? So I think couples came from a place of like, let us look at it from here. There was noise here that came around corruption. Bishop Palmer was in this group at that time, but he was in the leadership. But then they come back and said, okay, even though Bishop Palmer was here at the time, but he was not in the driver's seat yet. He was asked by the board to get into the driver's seat when these people got suspended, and he came on and he served diligently, and then he's out of bed. So this is another case where there are other cases in the literature, like people when it comes to Colonel Park, Isaac Lafta, and other people getting laws under his leadership. They also came up that corruption allegation is state. So he's also in the driver's seat. So you have to connect the dots in order to understand the prevailing situation. So I don't think the show is coming from a negative perspective to say there's a problem with the dagger in those cases, but you have to connect the dots in order to
Definitely so.
inform decision of the prevailing situation.
Yeah, definitely when they come an investigation, maybe I showed couple was speaking for the security analysis point of view. When you're trying to carry one certain investigation, you want to adapt, something you want to do a research, to know if the person have prior history, when you find certain things. Not to say you're accusing them, but you want to check, this person have been involved, this was also before, and now they can't play the one. You want to try to get closer to your point, but you're not trying to
conclusion.
Gas bleeding of us want to say things that were happening, and that's the point what people try to come from. But wait,
Yeah.
what is your take on the DA response?
Yeah. First, I want to thank Couple for providing this clarification. But I look at Couple's the link. I look at it in a different way, and the way I look at it is that I think the point that Couple made is also a blessing in disguise for our bishop, like how people are viewing things. Again, I go back to the comment of Reverend Dole that congregate the members of the congregation are feeling speculation. All right, so in my mind or from my view, I'm looking at the statement in this way that Couple is saying, listen, Bishop Palmer had been down this road before and he was vindicated. Okay, he was vindicated. So let's keep hope alive. Let us stand, like the Executive Council said, they're going to stand with we will stand with our bishop and our sister Annie Flomo. Let's keep praying for them. Let's keep standing by them. He was vindicated before, and let us hope and pray that the same will happen again. So that's the lens from which I'm looking at the comment from Sis Couple. I'm not looking at the comment in a negative, in a negative manner that excuse from the expression that anywhere he is, corruption was there or stuff like that. No, I'm looking at it from the lens of hope. That's the lens from which I'm looking at, the comment and the link that Couple made. And I mean, I think the Reverend P. I mean, that's his responsibility. That's his immediate boss. He had to provide some clarification on that.
Yeah. So
I think.
Look at this is another powerful statement from our dear our dear mother. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's our mom. That's our mom. That's our mom right there.
Hello, everyone. I advise the meeting of the Bishop, the Executive Council, and the Pastoral Fellowship address the moral aspect of what is happening to our religious leader. Our members are concerned. The Executive Council is the official mouthpiece of our church. We need to hear from them. That's why we should be looking up to why our Lord Bishop is going through this crisis. Bishop can only be speaking for himself for the LC and fierce statement.
Thank you. You see? That's from what I'm going to
That's what I'm just saying. You know,
this confirm our point, Elijah and myself, that we need it. Go back again, Reverend Doe pull up a statement. He said public relations in any institution is important. Let me tell you this quickly. You know that the past 2 Sundays when we did not have the show due to some technical issues, right?
Yeah.
The ELCA with all of the technical class that they had, they paid someone specifically a public relation consultant, and that lady was there in New Orleans. Her responsibility just for public relation. That's her responsibility. 1 year contract. You understand? So.
But wait, does the church have a public relationship? That's another topic will jump in.
It falls under the office of the Secretary General. Just to land, please, right? That's the reason why the Secretary General led the meeting. Am I right, Elijah? He was
there presiding over the meeting.
Reverend P prayed to open the meeting. The Secretary General led the meeting because the bishop was going to address the Executive Council. Again, Mother Godo is saying here that she's corroborating the statement from Reverend Doe. The pastors are feeding the wind. No, let me tell you, our church is a traditional church. Sure. You will see some of the things, our people will be bearing the pin, but they will be keeping it, they will want to keep it hush. But now the only people that go to are the pastors. They think what we are in that true. They think what we I know. Okay? And people like Pastor Gono will not go and tell you, say, oh, that true or that lie when she does not have the information.
So
it's not the solution. Yeah, go ahead.
I will come back to our viewer out there. We're going to have for the segment of the show, you know. Put your comment in the chat room, we'll read it, we'll come to the record as our guest to read the comment, and then we'll come into the next aspect of the show. We'll be talking about the welfare of the pastors. Because if our pastors' welfare are really bad, if we're really taking care of, do you think they want to take political office? Huh? Do you think they want to take political office when their welfare is being met? If the congregation taking care of them, if the parishioners taking care of their pastors, if the pastor giving their incentive, their benefit, their pension, those that retire, are they getting that benefit? Those that serve the church, are they getting that benefit? Are they going through? So these are things we'll try to tap in a little bit, and then later on, next we'll jump in. Will it? They have record as our guest going through the comment.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Our brother Joshua Swakoli or Sue Colley Jr. is watching from Banga. Thank you so much. Wishing out there in Banga. Our mother, Victoria Nagbe Johnson. Good evening, family. Thank you so much, Mother Johnson. Morris Jackie Walker Jr. Good afternoon, my Lutheran family. Good afternoon, family, man. Again, okay, Mother Johnson is switching, is expressing sympathy. Hawa Kuyate, this is St. Matthew. All right. Good evening, family. I'm following from Painesville. It's always got to be Painesville. Okay, the Reverend Doe, Irisako Doe is from his AFE Fiamma office, residence, I'm sorry. And then Mother Gono is right here. You know, that's our mom. Mother Gono is there. And we also have our brother.
We're not going into that. We're not going into that. We're not going into that.
Why you jumping all out of the comment?
No, we're not going to talk about that one.
Why do they try to hide to give blood to the wrong of their leaders? No, not going into that. Thank you.
Yeah, we're not going into that. No way. We're not going
We
into
don't want to
that.
start it, and to my brother Sissy, we don't want to start a free speech here, but I don't think that's even not appropriate at all.
What can you delete? Can you delete that comment?
That's even not
Yeah.
appropriate.
Brother,
Do not respect the view of it, or do not respect the view of the platform at all.
brother Royal Jerome Jala, former President Jerome Jala, and brother Goto Jala is falling for Kakata. I again want to say thank you. And I know somewhere our Reverend what's the name? Reverend TJ Thomas Jala. Reverend Thomas Jala is following us from somewhere. I know that. He's the best.
So he's a troublemaker. He's the best. I already been.
That's the best. You're not here for us also too. You're not here for us also too. So
those are the few that we have.
So that's it.
That was the over man.
Really, I just want to recognize our own friend, brother.
Okay, come on, your recognition.
Not
You want to recognize anybody?
Who?
Yeah, I want to recognize our friend, brother. PNG Motherboard, today is his birthday. PN celebrates his
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Today is the council birthday.
A happy birthday. Wishing you all the best.
Thank you. So, thank for the beautiful comment I put there.
I'm done.
We tend to recognize everybody. Those that on the show feel to be recognized. And then I want to say thank you for coming to the show today. Thank you for your participation. And those that celebrate that birthday, want to recognize them. But guys, yeah.
You see Elijah laughing? The whole LACC team been in like John Palmer, Wilson, John Red. I hear that one team behind it. I heard that one team behind the team pulling strings. So.
Well, we can be told by the vacuum.
I'll be quiet.
The public.
Beyond what?
We'll wait for the verdict.
Beyond what?
Before I join the next segment, I want to ask you a question. Before I join the next segment, I want to ask you a question. The whole Idagbe Saka, our Annie Floba, is so quiet. I've not seen anything from her. Also, too, you have a personal relationship with her. Have you heard anything from her? Have you talked to her? Come on, you getting me?
No, I haven't heard. Yeah, I'm getting you.
Yeah, so have you?
You hearing me? You guys hearing me?
Okay, hear you now. You're coming.
Yeah.
I haven't heard. Yeah, I haven't heard anything from Ania as personal as friends. No, I haven't.
Okay, that's good.
But since the first time I said I got to her, nothing. I haven't gotten back to her yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let me go 1 hour now. We'll be winding down, but just touch on the business on the aspect there. Then next week we'll talk more about it. We'll do some research, and then we'll come back. We're just talking off here right now. We're just talking off here, but next week we'll do the research. We'll come back. But Elijah,
Yeah.
let me ask this the question here. I'm not trying to get into your family lives or whatsoever, but you are a son.
Oh, sorry.
You know, your father served the church also as a pastor, and one of the senior pastors also too. We all know Pastor Zina. When he used to come from Birmingham, when we were sports children in St. Peter those days, he used to come. We used to call the touch that pastor. He used to always talk about you always talk about one pastor, touch that. So that's why we call the touch that pastor. You know, but looking at our current reality, our current pastors, in the church, their welfare. We have 3 Bishop Jensen. We have a couple of pastors who fell sick, they fell ill. We reached to Aliyah. We have to come to provide some assistance for their medical bill. Some of them they didn't really make it, may their soul rest in peace. And then we have pastors, we have other pastors that been sick. We have my own dear sister, my big sister, pastor, the first few days, they got that time, Pastor Lady of Manahu, or Weber, or Weber, So our pastors, are they really taking care of their welfare? Have they been met? Those are people that serve. We should be concerned for them. Is the parish doing enough, or the central office doing enough to take care of their needs, even if they retire, if their pension be taken care of? What your take on it?
That's a very good question, Dr. Thor, and I would tell you that the church has a pension scheme, but the welfare of pastors is not up to present day reality. It's not something that is sustainable for any pastor. So I'll use my dad as a case study because I know his case very well. My dad served the Lutheran Church all through his years on this earth. Um, he started as a young pastor, and I think he started making 68 dohoi. That was his salary when he started, $68 dohoi at the time he was assigned in Bum Hill. And he tells me that sometimes he will walk to preaching points and parishes at a time the whole Bopolo on a lower part. So he will go to those areas where considered Bapolo country, they were all on a bombing parish and preaching points and things, and he will walk, getting by Brita, all those places. And he said sometimes he goes to those areas there's no offering. And he will have to just come back home. And even at his home church, Christ Lutheran Church in Bromley, so sometimes like the offering would not even reach to what it is. And they would just look at it and they would say, like, months and months went by, he couldn't even receive this $68. But this is a family man. He has to send his children to school. His family got to get medical treatment. But he navigated through those hardships while maintaining and keeping his family up. Before my dad retired, he was asked to pay certain amount so that he'll be able to get pension because there's certain amount of money that your pension gotta reach before you retire, and if you want to get money from the LCF, so he had to pay that amount of money. And then after he retired, he started receiving $250 after every 3 months. So it's not every month, but you receive, that is kind of, no, I think it was 450 and then it came down to 250, something like that. But it's not a amount that is sustainable. So if you work for over 25 years with an institution and then you retire, you only receive your money after every 3 months before you get paid. How sustainable is that for a person who has a family that they need, to support? I just thank God that we were in the position where we have to step in to provide some assistance to my dad while he was still alive. And God does things for the good. Because if I was not over here and able to step in and provide medical treatment and other things for my dad would have been dead and gone ever since before 2024. Because the situation was not favorable, and the support coming from central administration was not good. The late Bishop Harry, peace be unto his ashes, he initiated a process that they thought would have been a way forward to strengthen the pension scheme of the LCL. That is, they invested money from the pension scheme in the Tower Hill project of the LCL. That Tower Hill project, the vision for it was the pension money for pastors will go into that project, and then resources from that project, it will become a revolving fund that will go back into the pension scheme. So you get the money not sitting in the bank, but the money is growing, and people are making money. The project or the real estate on Tower Hill is bringing in money. But I tell you what, the onset of that project, I come here in 1 minute. The onset of that project was a failure. Okay, it was a failure. And so just to come to bear, the LCR pension program needs to be revised, needs to be revisited to reflect present day reality. Because you have pastors now, they want to retire, but they can't retire because they have not paid up to date for their pension. So they can't retire. They're there because they don't want to leave. And then the LCR tells us you didn't pay your pension, so you can get
Okay,
FYP.
okay, thank you for that clarity, because it's very concerning, when it comes to welfare of the pastors in the church, because those are people, they have their family, they have to send their children to school, also they have to feed their family. And if the parishes cannot really give them their need to serve them what they deserve, and to see the central office also too, maybe not creating the avenue or to the more effort to get what they get is very kind of very disheartening. But couple, I will bring with it later on. But couple,
We have a call, a caller.
yeah, okay, let me that caller. Yeah,
Go ahead.
You must have got a problem. Because this is the going.
okay, you're listening to Sister Goya? Yeah.
You hear me? Okay, all right. Hey, how you doing?
Again, ain't that all?
Yeah, you.
Hey, here is my point, right? I know, people will come out and say, "Counter man does not understand anything of God." So let me just confess, I'm a counter man, but I think that transparency and accountability is counter. I get a point that Dr. Tutu is raising around pastors' welfare. Character is what you do when other people aren't watching you. I think people who are supposed to be the moral forebearer of our societies should not be the ones, to be using the excuse of not being appropriately paid as a way to put your hands in the nation's coffers or even in the church's coffers. It is the truth that the Lutheran Church, I don't know about other churches, but the Lutheran Church has failed massively to support its pastors. Elijah, I knew your dad. I knew a lot of other pastors who, we saw live on the margins, kind of like living, just actually surviving, not even living, because what they were being paid was not appropriate. And I know of some Lutheran pastors all the way down away from Monroeville whose children were put out of school for tuition. Why they were preaching? Right? That is just insane. But I think we can extend that to even people who work in those pastors' offices. Don't forget, there are employees of the church that are not only pastors. So imagine if the pastors are not appropriately pensioned. Imagine the other staff who work in the churches, in the church offices. If you really think those people are appropriately pensioned, right? And so I think that's something to look at holistically. I think that's a bigger conversation to be had. How are we investing? Is the church investing? All of the properties the church has, all of the land, everything that we have.
Yeah, go ahead.
How are we using them to appropriately cater to our pastors? I think it's a shame whenever I see a person of God who's giving their time to serving God's people and counseling people and going to people's home where their marriages are falling apart and going to funerals and everything else and preaching to people. It hurts my feeling when I see those people living in abject poverty, just like it hurt my feeling when I see former teachers living in abject poverty. But I think that's a bigger conversation. I think the church should be ready to think through that and not coming to accuse anybody, but to just say, how can we do better? How can we really start thinking about how we invest our time and talent and the resources of the church so that people who are given to us during their young days, when they are older, that we are giving right back to them. I'm going to suspend the other piece about the LACC. I had enough fun with that already, but I think this is a bigger conversation to be had around how are we really giving back to our people who serve us, the pastors and those people who serve in pastoral offices, those clerks and everybody else who work for the Lutheran Church. Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you so much, Sister, for that. I mean, that's the reason why the topic was brought. I will say that we'll do more research. We'll come back next week, and then we'll provide more detail. We'll come about the welfare of the pastor in the church in Liberia. We're very concerned, But Kofu, you listen to Sister, and the church has failed due to the pastor massively. In terms of the people that deliver the word of God to us, artists here, when somebody die, funeral, marriages, they perform wedding, they are spiritual father, spiritual guardian, and they're not being well taken care of. How do you feel about it?
That's reality. The church has failed massively when it comes to taking care of our pastors. And who is the church? The church is we as Lutheran. It's not a building that is there. We as Lutheran, because I can remember I served as financial secretary for my parish for like 2 terms, and I ended someone 10, so almost like 10 years. I served as financial secretary, and we struggle to pay salaries. We struggle to pay our pension for our pastors because it is share 60-40. The church pays 60, the individual pay 40. So even for the individual to even pay his 40, the pastors, it was hard.
What the
Even
individual
for the parishes,
The pastor is the individual,
The
yeah.
pastor is the
the
individual.
pastor pay 40%, and the church pays 60% pension. So that
Maybe the
pension
secretary at the
is
central office or your local parish.
no. The
Local
parishes,
Pay for the pastor.
yeah.
Yeah.
So when you serve, like you serve at Bartnersville, we're responsible for your pension 60% for the length of time you will be there. When you leave Bartnersville, you go to Simafi, pick up it from there. But at the same time, too,
Why
as
would
a
they leave
pastor,
Banavie and go to see Matthew now? Banavie and Gushapa.
oh, wait, that's an example.
Yeah,
So
when
as
yeah,
the pastor, you have to do your 40% and the 60% left of the parish. But then to even pay our pastors is a problem. To even pay for the pastor themselves to pay the 40% is an issue, right? So we all feel the issue of pension when it comes to pension. Both the parish and the pastor they feel. I don't know for what I went through, what I saw when I was serving on the council. We all failed at that point, but we tried to pay. So even the deacon, when deacon is assigned to you, ordained deacon, you have to pay that deacon pension too. All ordained ministers on LCO, once they assign to you, you have to pay that pension. And the pension is not only to the central congregation, but the parish as a whole. So if you get a 3, 4, 5 preaching point, all of the preaching points will contribute to the budget. They contribute to the budget and they contribute to the pastor salary and the pastor pension. So what we used to do when we craft our budget, we have a line item for pension. Our 60% for pension to remain it to the council, to central office. But that was not it was not regular. So we all feel we all need to look at that and see how best we can pick up, because imagine you as an individual, we work and we are not paid. How it can help us, and we have our family to take care of. Then more as a pastor who is serving us. When I'm sick, I'm not able to go to church. They carry communion to my house and serve me communion, right? So these are things we should take into consideration. The official wedding, the official funeral, they counsel you, they do lots of things. But yet and still, our pastor pension and I pay tomorrow when he's retired, he doesn't really get a first spending to start from. So this is a serious issue. We all need to look at that. It is not one person. It's not central office. We all need to see how best we can wrap our head around it.
So what is the same question? Couple say we all failed. The whole Lutheran Church in Liberia, down to the members. That means the members are not contributing financially to the church. In terms of giving, giving has been one of the major problems in our church. Some time ago, we try to shape the beyond the missionary, which is the missionary did not teach you how to give. So they left us in that state of not being able to give. But now we see our pastor there. So look at the generation of ours that continually will fail. We fail our pastors. Not just for the central office, but the church, all the parity will fail our pastors. What's your view there?
Yeah, I will agree with both Elijah and Kapo that we fail, but to the point that we do not give to the church or to central administration, I want to drift off a little bit and use another avenue. Okay, and I can cite some instances. All right. Condemning witness, and she can help me with the name of this program that the late Reverend Weke Mengon he headed. I think it was the program that has to do the program. We had to raise some funds. I think it's own LCL or for evangelism. I want to believe, and the idea was that evangelism. Yeah, the idea was that while we are asking partners or the Liberian saying, why someone is washing your back, wash your front. So what we did was envelope was shared on people, okay, and money was raised. Where did that money go? All right. When it came to key considering giving and accountability, thank you very much. Sam, you know what? That's the main point I was going. That was my concluding point. But anyway, I will start from the beginning. I will start from the end to the beginning because Sion brother I already said that giving and accountability. So the giving aspect is there. Accountability is another thing. You need to account for the fund. Now that was just one. The fundraiser by Reverend Welkin. That Reverend Welkin. Okay, that's one. Two. We raised money. We raised money for Luther FM. They must talk about Luther FM. Our own colleague, the Reverend V. Zester Lila Yakwazo, was one of those who headed that campaign. And he even told people, say, listen, when you pay this money, you don't see Luther FM. I'm just going to say now, but I don't know if that's what he said, but he challenged people. He said, look, if you pay money, you don't see Luther FM. Here I'm growing my pound or you must be my back. Something like that. All right. Pay Luther F. The people contributed toward Luther FM. At the end of the day, the money was home. All right. Then we came to Just 50. Just 50 was part of Aliyah budget. It was a long acting in Aliyah.
What?
I want myself to interrupt you too.
No, I'm coming.
I want to interrupt because all of money generation was not for pension.
No, it was not for pension. No, it wasn't for pension.
Those are other financial aspects of the church.
I understand.
Those are other financial aspects of the church. Let's focus on well-being.
I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that quickly. I'm talking about giving. Just 50 was also about well-being. Just 50. Each person just contribute $50 a year. That was also for well-being, and that was a brilliant idea. Today, may his soul rest in peace. The Reverend Tanu Fopaye, Tanu Fopaye Kesali. Tanu Kesali, right? That was one of the cases here in the U.S. We try every means. Even Reverend Moses Goba, he went to John Hopkins University, John Hopkins Hospital, because I was in Baltimore by then. He went to John Hopkins Hospital and asked those that the administrator of John Hopkins Hospital, and they told him, say, listen, if that man can be in the U.S., we'll do free health care for him. He will be covered free, not a penny. But again, to get him up here was the problem. So now, let me just go down. Even, when you talk about Elijah's dad, it's also emotional to me because this is the man that I saw as a pastor when I grew up. He baptized me. I'm very, very proud that I was baptized by Reverend Zina. And Reverend Zina was people's pastor. I'm not saying that other pastors are not people's pastors, but your people's pastor, he served. Reverend Zina was all over bombing. I don't want to go over that. Elijah, I already mentioned it. But at the end of the day, what was the plan of our church for these people? At the result, you find out people don't want to even go into service. People don't want to go into service. They rather go and do secular work and can contribute to the church. They don't want to go into service because what they get at the end of the day. Do we have plans and programs to set these, activities for our pastor for the future? Yes, it is good, but the contribution have been made. I would say I will close on this. Let me close on this. Let me just close. Two. So I will close on this. Why will our church even take pension money, I understand, to be corrected, and give it to individual to buy property for themselves. And when they pay back, they never pay with interest. The Lutheran ELCA has IMF, yeah, or MIF, IMF, one of them, right? They have IMF. People's Community Lutheran Church, her money or her mortgage is through IMF. Even though you are a congregation, you took it, you pay interest on it too. That's how the church rotate the money. Okay, that it should be like that in the LCA. It's not a bad thing. Okay, if we can do it for John and for Pastor John,
It should be investment.
we should do it for the other people too. We should do it for the people in Lofa. We should do it for the people in Nima, and other places.
Okay, what come out to give you a process every other show that we have 10 more minutes.
Oh no, we got to research and come out to this show, because there are a lot of things we need to on Earth Nation.
We said that hold on one second.
Go ahead, Kwapo.
We said that we just put it in the surface.
Okay.
Our research.
Do our research and come back, yeah.
You know,
our insider is here. Elijah is here. You bring up.
Whether they not put the interest on it, those are things that cannot be verified.
Oh no, we'll bring document. We'll bring document to show you that.
They will see the policy.
Yeah, so those
We need to see the policy that gives them the right to loan the money.
So
Exactly. We got all that information.
See whether in the policy there's no interest.
we're just eliminating the discussion for next week.
Okay. So we got to.
You mute her. What do you mute yourself? What do you mute yourself?
Yeah. Okay. We have a caller. I just want to make sure if the caller wants to speak live or not. That's the reason why I muted myself.
So let me come back.
All right. Yeah. Go ahead, Reverend. We have the Reverend Pay on the phone. The BA is on the phone. He want to make some clarification.
Okay.
Why you do the PA now and go live?
You live.
We have to bring also towards the pension. The pension you are discussing.
Yeah.
I said it is an interesting topic, and it is a topic that must not just stay and on the show. It should come here on the ground in Liberia, because the pension is seriously troubled. I have to tell you that you heard Zena narrating the story about Tower Hill.
Yeah.
And that is the reason why the bishop had proposed that there should be a conference on the pension. So we find a way for, let's see what is wrong with the pension. Indeed, there are things wrong with the pension that we need to all come together, look at the historicity, and then find a lasting solution that will be within the context of Liberia in the past. Truly, and my best friend and my daughter couple is there. She knows. I served Barnesfield for 6 years. They did not pay my pension. So I'm trying hard now to build it up, like Zena said. Other than that, the day I retired, I will be going empty-handed.
Wow.
After serving this church faithfully for so long.
Wow.
Also, there are people who have gotten so much out of the pension. And that's why we want a conference on the pension. That's the contribution I wanted to make. So the day that conference is called, we hope that you people will be represented to see where we go from here with the pension.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Reverend Pay. Anybody got questions? Yeah.
No,
I know we get question on the surface today. We'll come back.
So next week, like I said, we'll come back on the show. We'll do our research and come back. There's some good information there.
And it is, and I told you not to cut you. It is good that the PA mentioned that there's a planned conference on the pension. So we'll give them more information to talk about.
Tell the BA he'll be our special guest for next week.
Okay. Sure, absolutely. Yeah, he's listening. So PA, you're gonna be our special guest next week.
On the pension issue.
He said no problem. He has confirmed. So next Sunday. Yeah.
That's what we'll discuss the issue. You see, that's the reason why I brought the topic off. I want to take a look at it, discuss it. When it comes to welfare, the well-being of our pastor is it's what we want to look into. But we try to wind down the show now. We have about 5 minutes to 6 minutes. I just wanted to ask the last question when we're talking about everybody the whole church and also, and I want to look at from the leadership perspective. We are leaders. Everybody can do everything together. In economic, they call what division of labors.
Yeah.
Everybody have their own specialization, especially that's why you were elected or you were placed in a position to be able to provide leadership to people and provide leadership come with innovation. You have to be innovation. You have to be innovative. You have to come up with strategy, new idea, how to move from A to point B. The people that we have elected for the executive council or the pastor, are they innovative to see that the pastor well-being need to be moved from point A to point B, or what effort are they making also for their end also too? Those are critical questions we got to think of when we meet next week from the leadership perspective. They are not just there, they are leaders. The leader must be able to see beyond what the lay maker cannot see. We had some time ago when Dr. Marapa, when he assumed the presidency of the Lutheran University some time ago, he made a proposal recommendation to the Lutheran Church in Nigeria. I don't know whether a proposal ever accepted. He said that every first Sunday, if the central administration can just reach out the rural parishes, that the first Sunday, therefore, to raise offering. Every first Sunday for the Lutheran University, it will go a long way. It will help to pay some of the rear of the Lutheran University, pay pastors. He said, yeah, every Sunday, the first Sunday, or maybe any particular Sunday, just one Sunday, it will go a long way. It was not accepted by the central administration of the region, the parishes, to let people know, and the people are so excited to have a Lutheran University. And what contribution are they making towards that to keep the growth of the university? So those are critical things. You're not just a leader to sit down. You have to think beyond, be far beyond, the scope. But Elijah, your closing statement, looking at from the leadership perspective, the executive council, everybody, to where we are right now, looking at the pastor care, the pastor welfare, the pastor well-being, we'll talk about next week. What can you what closing statement can you make, and what message can you send out to the pastor out there?
Thank you, Dr. Toto. Innovation is very much important in any leadership. If you are placed in the position as a leader, you have to be innovative. You have to have the ability to maneuver the system and make the system work for you. If you lack the ability to make the system work for you, then you will not survive through the system. And I know that we have some success stories of some of our pastors, and like Brother Kofa rightly said, like the rural pastors, the LCL policy as it relates to the way pastors are paid. And I like the fact that the bishop also proposed that they want to do the centralized salary system. I think if the LCS can come to that term to institute the centralized salary system, that will help mitigate some of the problems that we have around pastors' welfare and other stuff. Because without a system, without a fair pay system, because the LCL policy is that when I'm assigned to XYZ parish, that parish is responsible to pay me. So that's the reason why we don't have most of the pastors with degrees now. They don't want to go into the rural parishes because the rural parishes cannot pay according to their qualification. So some of those pastors who are assigned in the rural area, they definitely say, I'm not going because my family needs to survive. If you assign me in Bel Air, and Bel Air Parish, every Sunday, the offering is not even more than $500 with it. Then you assign me over there, you say they should pay me. How you expect me? When it comes to innovation, if I'm assigned in Bel Air as a pastor, with my calling, I accept the calling, right? And I use the resources available to me in Bel Air Parish. So you can make the money to pay me, let's make fun to support the pastor. The pastor get a rest fund. Pastor get this. And you can sell the rest and generate resources to support the pastor. So you got to not mitigate, but initiate different strategies to survive in certain terrain. I think there's a success story about Reverend Ellen when he went to Somalia. He made Somalia a home,
Yeah.
and he made Somalia very attractive. That he initiated different things in Somalia, and Somalia became an attractive place of Paris. A lot of pastors wanted to go because of the way Reverend Ellen spoke and the
About
couple
fun.
worked in Somalia and yeah, play the rubber and other kind of stuff. So you have to be innovative and you have to know how to navigate the system. And then also, we talk about, I want to just get a couple point about members of the church failing to support. That's why for the transportation will not pay. I want to beef on that a little. In most of our churches, we've had situation of corruption. And some of those corruption is associated with the leaders of the church, including the pastors as well. Where people pay money for practice and things and that money will not utilized in the process for the intended purpose. And from that, if people are paying money and it's not used for the intended purpose, you kill the zeal of them giving more to you. Because if I pay money, we don't want to build, we want to build a toilet for the pastor, and then we all generated the money to build the toilet for the pastor. And then that pastor did not get the toilet that was the funds were intended for. What happened to the money the pastor come and explain to it? What do you think I would do the next time the pastor said that place wanted to build a toilet for the pastor? I would not put my money there. So the
Thank you,
pastor
Elijah.
also need to be
We
very
are,
transparent in their dealing with their congregations and be very strategic in how they provide where they are in life.
thank you, Elijah. You are our insider. Do your
Yeah,
research.
that's the mental function. Insider.
Do your
That's the
research.
pastor's son.
Insider.
The pastor, so do your research and come back there will be prepared because you
But
the DCA will be able to share more insight when it comes to the pension issue next week. Whether let your record
yeah,
out before I get a couple to give for closing statement or whatever. Let your record out some of the people that came in later on.
I wanted to recognize my pastor live because I know he's watching. There's no day
Yeah.
that Pastor Jala would not watch the show.
Pastor
I
Jala
wanted
is
to give
putting
him
show
my
there.
closing comment.
I see Stevie, I see Stevie also out there.
I'll send Brother Stephen Cover.
I see Moses also there.
No,
Yeah.
Brother Golayon.
Kolayo,
He's the men's president. We need to bring him back. It's been a long time. What's going on with the pig? The pig farming and thing. He need to come and let us know the country.
Those are some of the things for resource support for pastors.
We here
Yeah,
comment.
Abraham as well. Yeah, let's read a comment.
Yeah,
It said
for resource support
one
for the
thing to do
pastors.
about paying pension, we should deduct 40% from the pastor pay and add our 60% and remit that to central office instead of saying pastor go ahead and pay the 40% to central office. Now that's another thing right
So
there.
those are
Next week we'll talk about it next week.
Those are all good points.
Those
For
are
our
good
viewer out there, all those that do get good information about the pension, they can prepare next Sunday. Come with a question, come with suggestion, recommendation, the BOB here, and our insider will be also to counter any question you put there too.
So that I told you, just to be clear, it's pastoral care and pension, right? Or,
Yeah.
Okay.
Pastoral welfare and pension.
Pastoral welfare and pension. Okay.
Yeah. So Kapo,
Yeah.
what's your take now? What are you taking out of the people? What are you leaving with the people?
Again.
For the pension issue. So what's your take?
Yeah, again, the pension issue is a serious issue when it comes to the welfare of our pastors, because when they are retired tomorrow, they need something to live on until God can call them. Even you and myself, we all working, we all know we pay for pension, that tomorrow when we are retired, we should have something to live on. But in as much as we need to pay our pension, but there are other investment, like what he said, the pension money, that's a good, you cannot have pension funds and you just keep it, you don't grow it, the money just started. Then why are you keeping the money? Money need to be reinvested, money need to be invested, money need to come with interest. Those interests that are generated on the money that are sent out, it can also increase the pension, so to help those who are who are done, they cannot reach at certain amount like those rural pastors. So if the urban pastors, we pay our 100% pension and we invest it, or someone will give it out as loan, and there's some 5% or 3% interest. That
Yeah.
interest can help the men whatsoever coming from the rural area,
From the rural
and
area.
our pastor will be okay. So
Thank
we
you,
all need to
Couple.
look at it. Thank God there is upcoming conference upcoming conference that has to do with pension. We look forward to the BA to send our invitation. We will definitely be there to send somebody to represent us and see how it goes. And at the end of the day, we will all start from there. For the issue of pension for our pastor and welfare, we all feel about it. Someone said, when he listed a lot of funding that was raised, the money that was raised, they were for a particular purpose, they were not for pension. Yeah, just want to hear how much of those money were mismanaged, but it was never for pension. Pension is a separate fund that should be set aside for only our pastor when they are retired tomorrow. They get that pension on the call, can call all of us. So we are with the the conference for the pension way forward. And another thing again that I thought, should we accept public office because we are not being taken care of as pastor. I think the law is there. We are ministers. We said we're going to do a research on that. I don't know who did a research. For me, I did not do it, but we need to look at that too. There are laws that say once you are minister, you cannot hold public office. We should be very strict on that. And even holding public office, it doesn't even give you the right to do whatsoever you want to do. So we should look at that seriously, and not because your parish is not taking care of you. So when you hold the people office, so you should go and do X, Y, Z. No, that's not what it meant for. Even you and myself, even when we are being paid, we are working, we are being paid, our salary is almost stated. It doesn't give us the right to go into public funds. No, it doesn't. So we all should look at that, and we all should have our demarcation when it comes to finance, when it comes to money. We should be very disciplined financially when it comes to that. So
Thank you.
that's a good
Thank you.
idea. There were
Yeah, thank you very much for that. I think if I can recall, I think Bishop make a statement some time ago. You talk about very big system for pastors. Like maybe a pastor from St. Peter, look at the number of congregation the St. Peter have. They may have strong financial support to pay their pastor, compared to maybe from my hometown in Toyota or church in Toyota. They may not have the
yeah.
population also to raise that fund of to pay maybe the 60% or 40% that we're talking about. So there are a lot of things need to be looked into, and that topic is very huge, and want to go into more detail to get more understanding about it when it comes to the need of our pastor, because it's very, like we always talking, the same the church, they deserve to be happy with their family. And we know things in Liberia nowadays so expensive to have a schools. They have to send our children to school. They have to take care of their family. So next week, our viewer out there can prepare next week. They'll be prepared to discuss the issue. You have one recommendation that come with that we can send to the central office. It's so good. The BOB and next week will be our special guest to discuss the issue. And the upcoming conference that they're talking about, there will be a topic on to discuss the upcoming conference. So when they we'll give it away, you'll give your closest statement, and you'll take her home.
Yeah, and I would try to be very brief on this. I want to jump quickly with the point I made regarding money that were collected in the past. I know they were not pension money, but how does the congregation pay the 60% is from the same members of the congregation. They have to contribute money and pay the 60%. So if they paid or contributed towards other projects and those projects did not fall through, you will see the congregation members, they will fall back in pain. That's how a couple stated that we failed. And that's how we fail, because when we contributed on other projects, the money did not, the project did not follow through. So that's one point I want to make. The second point here is this, that saying things can be very good, but the implementation, I think it was last year or the year before when Bishop newly took over, he talked about the merit-based system. Now, you cannot have Pastor Sumo Kokolo, who just graduated, okay, a Western education,
A foreign degree.
foreign degree, then you say you're going to send him to Bokesa. Okay,
But now you calling her.
yeah, where you got to go to Zozo and walk to Fisabu, then walk to Konya, then walk to Bokesa. Okay,
By the calling. The answer
But
in
you
the call.
calling, you gotta go.
That's funny, man. Rock back with it. Jack in the closest in there.
I
Yeah,
give
let's
him my,
do
I
that,
give him
man.
my closing statement. How they gonna pay him? And so you know, when we say these things, let us follow through on them. That's the point I'm trying to make. That's the calling of Brother Kokolo. And Brother Kokolo been in the trenches before, so he's a ranger. He can make it, you know. But there were a lot of our pastors. I work very closely with brother, with not brother, but the late Reverend Tanu Kesali. I work very closely with him. I saw how that man used to move. Look, Reverend Tanu Kesali used to fight. Not all right. I shouldn't say fight, but you know, like he used to like defend that territory of the Lutheran era in Kakata. He said, "There's the Lutheran. You can't bring the cornerstone here." He physically he used to be engaging people, but now at the end of the day, is the church caring for his family? All of what the sacrifices that he made for the church, and it saddens my heart that the church can give money, can take pension money and give it to Willie Kobo and pay by our interest, but the same pastors that are paying their pension money when they retire because they did not reach a certain threshold, they will go with zero. I think that's wrong. That's robbery. They've contributed. It's like 401k.
No, that's a robbery. Treat that one. Treat that
Okay,
statement.
all right, sorry,
Yeah.
that's not robbery. I'm sorry. I retract my. I want to say publicly that I apologize. I was wrong for saying it. I apologize
Yeah,
for that.
that's good.
I apologize. But let me conclude on this. That
Eh,
no, I want to conclude, couple, that if a pastor contributes, that although you are in finance here in the US, there's something called 401k. I believe that's the same pension. Okay,
Yeah.
401k.
Yes, sir.
Anything the person contributes to the 401k, match it in any kind of way that it has to be matched and get that person their benefit. Don't tell him that okay, because you have to read
great
10,000.
default. Yeah.
You read 9,500. You didn't read 10,000, so that's zero. That's not fair. That's not fair. So we wait until next week. Pastor Pay is a very good person to be in a seat to discuss that with us, and we encourage other people to come on to and follow the conversation. And we can even bring a lay person to come here and help us to also with financial advice, because our sister here is a finance,
Yeah, couple
finance
for the Lutheran
right,
hurricane.
so, exactly, and she was in the system as well. So you know that she was in the system, and our brother insider is here. So until next week, we
The
want to say
pastor's
thank you.
son.
It was a great show. It was a great show. The pastor's son is here. Yeah, it was a
Very
great
good.
show, and
Very
it made us
good
act
show.
like for a long time as well.
Yeah, very great
Yeah.
show.
It was a great show indeed. Yeah. Okay, then folks.
Yes, we
yeah.
don't have to go with the Bishop Saka.
No Bishop Saka. We're going straight welfare of our pastors.
That's it.
Welfare of
That's
our
all going
pastors.
straight to our pastor welfare.
Going to our pastor, we got to defend
Yeah.
our pastors. That's our territory.
Yeah.
Our pastor that can go
How
and give up.
we can beat on it, we should defend them.
No, we should defend it. Y'all can be on it.
Yeah.
We'll defend it this time around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Thank you for your heart.
The show was good today.
Mm-hmm.